Welcome, welcome, my friends, to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you as always by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camels Challenge. Smoke Camels for 30 days to see for yourself what a difference Camels can make in your life. Well, my friends, I don't know where the time goes. I just realized that it's already been 2 weeks. I've got to get a new. I'm not going. I went this morning for an MRI head, and I'm wearing my N95, and the technician asked me if I want to wear a mask inside, and I said, yeah, absolutely. I contracted COVID at a healthcare facility, so she gave me this, flimsy thing that you can wear. It really doesn't offer very good protection. And there I am laying in this thing and getting the headset adjusted, all this stuff. And these two technicians are standing above me, and they're 14 to 20 inches from my face, and neither one of them are wearing a mask. And I'm wondering to myself, why do I have to risk my life for a diagnostic procedure? So that's how my day started today. It's Shabbos. I should be doing this tomorrow, but I want to get it done. Um, it's a nightmare. I mean, I to say from each time it's getting worse. But people are getting congressmen and senators getting assaulted and mugged and targeted for assassination, and children put at risk for hepatitis, and I mean, in every way, every one of us are living on a planet where life is becoming more insecure. It doesn't matter how privileged you are, life is extremely insecure these days. So, and that is where we are. I've been thinking this week back. I've been reading uh, James Baldwin's the biography, A Love Story by Nicholas Bogg, uh, and it has brought back memories for me of 1975, 76. And, I have, my life is all recorded. You see those files back there. So I have 1975, 1976. I have a file for Walbridge Elementary School and a whole file on Monty Johnson, who I met in 1975 at Walbridge Elementary School, and he was 8 years old, and his mother had died a couple of years earlier. Um, I will never forget him. He'd be 58 now, um, and it was Mrs. Oots. I was getting, I had been dropped from the PhD program. It was a blow. I didn't know where I was going. I had a year off, and I took a job as a teaching assistant in the St. Louis Public Schools. And so I was a teaching assistant to Mrs. Oots in her fourth grade class in an all-black area of St. Louis. And when I came into the class, I went around to all the students and I got down on my knees in front of each desk so that I could look at them face to face without looking down on them. And I introduced myself, and Mrs. Oots called me over and she said, um, Barry, the boy over there, that's Monty Johnson. Um, he really shouldn't even be in this class. Yeah, he can't read or write. He's completely unresponsive. He seemed to like you. Maybe you could spend some time with him. Um, Now, Monty had been tested by the school psychologist the year before, and I read the report later. He theoretically, they said that he couldn't read, he couldn't write. He was mentally retarded, extremely low IQ, borderline dull, but and I hadn't noticed any of that in my interaction with him. Monty was this little kid who uh, made no problems, and so they just ignored him. So he was supposed to be scheduled to go to the class for uh, learning disabled children, children with learning problems and behavioral disorder problems. They put them all together in a classroom, which was generally referred to as the zoo. So Monty was scheduled to go to the zoo, um, but there wasn't any room there, and he didn't cause anybody any problems. He just sat there with a little book, and he would spend the whole day just staring at the book. So I took him out of the classroom to a little cubby I had, and the book he'd been staring at was a book on dinosaurs. And I asked him, I said, "So you like dinosaurs?" And he said, "Yeah." He started telling me about the Paleolithic era and the Brontosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus and the Allosaurus. I said, "Well, wait a minute, Monty, where did you get all this information from?" He said, "From the book." Um, and I said, "Could you read this book to me?" And he started reading, and just flawless. Um, we were in class. Mrs. Roots had asked the children to uh, find out when their grandparents, grandfather, grandmother, were born, so we could calculate what their age was. So I mean, it was a way of doing kind of math and family. And Monty said to me, "I know how old Thomas Jefferson is." And I did, Thomas Jefferson. Where's Thomas Jefferson? He said, "There's nobody here named Thomas Jefferson." And he said, 233 years old. Thomas Jefferson would be 233 years old. This was 1976, and Thomas Jefferson would have been 233 years old. Monty knew when Thomas Jefferson was born, and Monty was a little James Baldwin, a little genius. Um, his father, as I said, his mother had died a couple of years before. His father worked 2 jobs. He was being raised by his older sister. His father, Fred, was a decent guy. He gave me permission to take Monty home with me after school, as long as I put him back in, time to go after dinner, 6:37, I'd bring him back. And the first thing I did was take Monty to a burger store, and he was always hungry. Uh, it turns out that there was nothing for him at home, certainly not anything to eat. So he went over to the library. He didn't even have a library card, but he went to the library and he sat and he read. Um, and I brought him to Washington University, to the campus, and I said, "Monty, this is a school too. And you can come to a school like this, but you have to show people what you know. You're going to have to take tests. You're going to have to talk to people. You can't be so unresponsive. You've got to talk to people because you can come to a school like this." I wanted to motivate him. So I went to the social worker and did the psychologist and the principal, and I'm all excited, and they said, really doesn't make any difference. He's going to stay in the same seat, reading his book every day, because there's no room for him in the zoo. And if if you don't have a learning disability, then there's nothing for you. There's nothing for brilliant, gifted children here. We have no gifted children's program. His sister got jealous of my attentions, and so did the other students in the class, and they started to torment him. And in the end, I made his life worse. I didn't help him in any way. At the end of the semester, the end of the year, I gave him a dictionary and a hug, and I left him to his fate. After which, I collapsed. I just I couldn't deal with what I had done, what I had failed to do. And it forever, James Baldwin was a genius, one among many, 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 many. There, but for fortune, who got crushed, so that what we get is the one who manages to survive, to produce and create. But what I've seen in my life is so many brilliant little children who uh, had, could become, whatever, and they are just crushed. And this is before now. So I'm finding that reading the biography, Baldwin's biography, is really having a strong impact on me, especially because it's all about love, which the inscription in the beginning of the book is, love is really the only reality. So it's and when you really truly love someone, you love them forever. You never stop loving someone that you have truly fallen in love with. So with that, I will leave you go for another 2 weeks. God willing, it's getting rough out there. So stay safe and keep your head above water. I'll be back next week. I'm sure I'll turn around and it'll be 2 more weeks. So have a good, I don't know, take the Countless Challenge.